If you are a parent of a small child and you are a gentle parent or positive parent, however you want to call it, then this is my message to you. It is hard. It is much harder than authoritarian parenting. I keep seeing things on social media about making fun of gentle parenting, and actually it's so much easier to be an authoritarian parent, right? First of all, because it's how most of us grew up, so we already know all those mechanisms, right? So it's just natural that we do the same thing, that we react the same way we were reacted to. So that's one reason. And second, because it's so much easier to just let our emotions run the show, right? So I saw this sketch on social media making fun of gentle parenting, where it was a little kid so it was a mom, and she wanted to put the kid in a child seat, and the kid, was doing all those karate moves, like, no, and holding themselves. I think every single parent, regardless of your parenting style, has been through that. And then the mom just is like, oh, you don't want to see it? And then she turns back to her husband and is like, I need help here. And of course, that was making fun of the fact that when we gentle parent, very often you see that moms or dads that gentle parent, they often ask for help for their partner to come and help. And the reason for that is because gentle parenting or positive parenting requires self-control. The first step is also our self-regulation. Because as I said, it's so much easier to just be an authoritarian parent and just mindlessly react to my emotions. That's what we all are, our bodies, this is what we want to do immediately, right? When we are feeling a strong emotion, we just want to react to it. And because people were raised with authoritarian parenting, and society is just looking for revenge always, this is also the pressure we get from the outside. Punish them. Scream at them. So you have all this input. On one hand, from your natural instincts, you want to react to your emotions. On the other hand, the learned behaviors, because that's the way you were parent, and all the pressure from the outside to just let it go and react. And an authoritarian parent, what they do, they would just forcibly put their child in the child seat, and their child would start crying. And then they would say something, you stop crying right now, or I'll give you a reason to cry about. And then the child would cry harder, and maybe they would spank them, and the child would cry harder, and they would spank them harder until the child stops. And also, it's not like authoritarian parent immediately, it's very fast. It also takes time. So you need to create this fear in your child, right? The more your child fears you, the easier it gets. So then it gets to a point where you just looking at your child is enough to make them stop and do what you say, right? So you don't even need to say anything anymore. You just look at them and they already know, okay, I'm going to stop right now and I'm going to do what my mom says because I'm scared. I'm scared of the consequences, right? So with gentle parenting, it's much harder because I'm not mindlessly reacting to my emotions, right? In that moment when the child doesn't want to enter the child seat, what I feel is frustration, what I feel is stress because maybe I need to get to work right now and it's getting really late and I just want to go. What I'm feeling is anger also, like, why is this child being uncooperative right now? I feel all these things, and what I want to do is just force the child to do what I want them to do. What I want to do is scream at the child and let my frustration get out. And this is exactly what an authoritarian parent does. So they are just reacting to their emotions, and that's just the easy way. On top of that, because the child is scared of them, they tend to need less time to get to the outcome that they want, right? With a gentle parent or a positive parent, there are 3 phases into it, or even 4. One is self-regulation. So I need to regulate my emotions. I need to be like, okay, I'm feeling really frustrated right now, and this is okay. It's normal to feel frustrated. Anyone in my position would feel frustrated. And this is a small child, and I'm not going to bully my child into doing what I want. My child is behaving like this because they are a small child with an underdeveloped brain that needs guidance to deal with their emotions and to learn what is the acceptable behavior to this situation. And it's my job as a parent to guide my child. And so I need to self-regulate first so that I can do that. Because when my emotions are high, I just want to mindlessly react to them. So I need to self-regulate so that I can access the rational part of my brain and help my child and parent, because that's what parenting is to guide your child and teach them what is acceptable behavior, what is not acceptable behavior, how to deal with emotions, so that they have the skills throughout their own lives to deal with those things, right? And not just mindlessly obey other people and constantly be people-pleasing, right? Because that child that is forced into the car, that is told you cannot cry, what they learn is first, it's not okay to cry. I cannot cry in front of other people, right? And this can lead to really bad things going down ahead, right? Second, I have to just obey, otherwise bad things will happen. So I have to make sure that the people around me are always happy. They have to, otherwise bad things will happen to me. So they are always walking on eggshells. They are always looking to people please everyone. They are afraid to say what they want or to take those steps in life that you need to move ahead and to grow and to, have a profession one day and all that, because they are just there obeying and always being very scared and making sure everyone is happy, What you want is not that. What you want is that your child understands why they need to sit in the child seat. And this is harder, as I said, because first you need to self-regulate, as I said. So you need to self-regulate so that you're able to access the rational part of your brain. Then you need to connect with your child, because we always connect before we correct. Because again, your child is feeling a lot of emotions. It won't help that you're trying to rationalize with them when they are filled with emotions, because first they need to bring their emotions down so that they can access the rational part of their brains also, right? So you need to connect with them. This means empathize. I know you wanted to stay at home. We were having so much fun at home playing, and it's time to go to kindergarten because today is Monday, and the first times it would take longer, right? Because you need to explain, like, oh, today is Monday, like, look at the calendar, especially if it's a small child, right? You need to show them a calendar and be like, look, today is this day. And by the way, I recommend every parent to have a calendar, of a small child to have a calendar where you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all the weekdays, and which days are kindergarten days and which days are weekends, so that your child starts understanding the concept of why on this day I don't go to kindergarten and on this day I go. But this is an aside. But anyway, so after you connect with your child, and your child has regulated themselves, that's when you go to the correction part. That's when you explain to your child why they have to sit. And then very often it helps if you also brainstorm a solution, or if your child is very small, if you give a suggestion. So for instance, what about later today we are going to build a huge Lego tower? And again, if this is the first time you're doing this, if your child is very young, it might take a little bit longer, and your child might still be crying, I don't want to do it later, I want to do it now. And then you can go to other positive discipline tools, such as imagining the future, because when we are planning the future and imagining the future, it releases in us the same good feeling that when we are actually doing those things. That's why planning holidays very often is fun, because you're imagining yourself in those holidays. So you can be like, oh, I can't wait to build that huge tower. How high do you think it will be? It will be this high or this high? And your child will then be like, oh, this sounds exciting. Okay, let's do this. And then they will sit down. And the second time you do this, it will not take as long anymore. It will take shorter. And eventually it will reach a time where you can just say, oh, I understand you wanted to stay because it's really fun and you were having fun, and it's time to go to the kindergarten. And those 10 seconds will be enough. The same way that with an authoritarian parent, after a while, so it gets easier, right? The first time you maybe need to spank many times, and then you spank less and less, and then it comes to a time you just need to look at them. But still, authoritarian parent will always be easier and faster than gentle parenting, because even when you reach that point where your child is just, understanding how things work, With an authoritarian parent, you take 1 second, you just look at them, and they know what you mean. And with the gentle parenting, you need those 10 seconds. I know that you wanted to stay, and it's time to go. So it took a bit longer, right? So gentle parenting will always take longer than authoritarian parenting, and it will always be harder because, as I said, it's much easier to mindlessly react to my emotions, right? When my child is being really upsetting to me and I just look at them like angry, I am just letting my emotions out, right? Like I'm mindlessly reacting to my emotions. It's so much easier than being like your child is being like, oh, no one got the kindergarten. And you have to be like breathing, take a deep breath. Okay, I can do this. Let's do this. And then be like, I know you wanted to stay, and we have to go in a calm voice. This requires more of you, right? It will always be harder to be a gentle parent or a positive parent, however you want to call it, than it is to be an authoritarian parenting. But what I can tell you is that with gentle parenting, as your child grows and the more you do it, the easier it will get, right? Because your child will have less challenging behavior, right? With authoritarian parenting, your child might hide their challenging behavior from you, which means that they do things behind your back. and so it might feel like the challenging behavior also reduces, but this will come back to you, right? Because your child will only obey you until they are scared of you. So by the time they are teenagers, you will probably start having more problems, unless you're a really, really, really authoritarian parent that is so harsh on the child that they are still scared of you when they are teenagers. But eventually, even if it's at the time they are grown-ups, they will disconnect from you, right? And when people are in nursery homes and they say, oh, my children never come to visit me. They didn't even visit me one single time this year. They never call. Yeah, how did you treat those children when they were growing up? Were you constantly spanking them? Why would they have a connection to you? Why would they feel connected to you, right? With gentle parenting, I can assure you that the more you do it and the more you connect with your child, it will get easier, and also there will be less and less challenging behavior, and your child will be more and more connected to you, and you're giving your child all the tools that will make them a healthy grown-up. So they will not be always worried, oh my God, I have to please everyone. Oh my God, am I upsetting someone? Oh, they will not be imploding, having all those depressions and being all like, or suddenly having an outburst when they are teenagers and, like happens in the United States where they have access to guns and they're just, they won't be having all those things because you taught them how to deal with their emotions, right? And going back to that video that I saw, that sketch video comedy, where they were making fun of gentle parents that require help and that they ask their partner, oh, I need help right now. And when you ask for help, when you're feeling very overwhelmed, that you're like, I can't deal with this right now because I am feeling so many emotions right now that I am about to scream at my kid. And you say to your partner, I need help right now. And your partner comes and they have a cool head because they were not in the situation until now. So they are able to start over and be more relaxed. This will cool down the situation. It will help your child. And it will also help you because you are then able to, just remove yourself from the situation and cool down yourself. So asking for help in that situation not only is good for you and for your child, but it will also teach your child an important lesson. When we are very filled with emotions, when we are about to do something that we will regret later, we remove ourselves from the situation and we ask for help. Okay, I repeat this. We remove ourselves from the situation and we ask for help. And asking for help is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay? And it really bothers me when I see people on the internet making fun of parents who need help. Because all parents need help. Even if you're an authoritarian parent, you will need help because all that anger, because that's another thing with authoritarian parenting. when you are so angry at your child and you just let their anger out on your child, so your child becomes the target of your anger, right? You don't feel really necessarily better afterwards. You might feel that sense of, I got this payoff, I got my revenge. At least it's feeling bad. At least they know what they did, right? That revenge, right? But you still feel with all that. Whereas when you gentle parent, the act of connection, the hugging your child, the connecting with your child, the reaching a compromise with your child, and getting that, like, yeah, let's build a huge Lego tower later. It will really actually release endorphins in you. So you will actually feel good afterwards. You will feel connected. You will feel that sense of love and connection and happiness. And this will reduce the stress. This will reduce all that anger, So it's also better for the parent. It is harder, but in the long run, it will get easier. And when your child is a teenager, and they are going into all those situations that require help, right? And require guidance, you don't want them to be scared of coming to you because of what you will do. Like, when my son is a teenager, so my son is still very young, only 4 years old, but when he's a teenager and he's into a situation where he put himself into a dangerous situation, he's screwed up, I don't want him to think immediately, my parents can never find out about this. On the contrary, I want him to call me and be like, Mom, I need help. I don't want him to turn into people that are not going to maybe give them the right advice, and that might even put him in bigger troubles. I don't want him to feel like he has to deal with everything all by himself, and that he cannot ask for help, and that no one can find out, because that's a lot of pressure to put into a teenager, right? And many of us grew up like that. How many of us were lucky when we were teenagers or even children, and we screwed up, that instead of being scared when we were telling our parents, and instead of feeling scared of their reaction, we were relieved that they were there for us and that they were going to help us and that we turned to them for help. How many of us that were raised with authoritarian parenting? I would say zero. Is that how you want your child to grow? I'm getting all emotional here. So, just wanted to say, if you are gentle parenting right now, great for you. It's not about being perfect, it's doing the best you can. You will screw up sometimes because everyone screws up, there are no perfect parents. Yes, your child one day will also turn back and be like, my mom did this and this and this wrong. This is for sure. But be the parent you want to be. Have the relationship with your child that you want to have, regardless of what anyone else says, because it's so much easier. Before I go, I want to say another video I saw. I saw this other video that was a kid that, I think I even talked about this in one of my previous lives. A kid got himself into, those machines that have like a hook and you can grab like, teddy bears and things like that. A kid managed to get inside, where that drawer, that little compartment where you take out your prize. The kid managed to go inside the machine through that. And the mom was next to the kid and she was doing great. She was super calm. She was reassuring our child that everything was okay, that everything would be okay. And people were just screaming at her and at the kid, like, what are you doing? Look at that, what they have to do? And the mom still managed to keep her cool and really just focus on the child and reassure the child. And then I go to the comment section and everyone is like, well, this mom doesn't care, look at these moms nowadays. And I was like, you have no idea. It would be so much easier for that mom to just start screaming at the child. So much easier, because of course, she's like, that's her first instinct. What have you done? Look at that, how am I going to take you out of there? Right? Instead, she calmed herself down, she self-regulated, even though people were screaming at her, which I don't know if I could have done that, to be honest, so And my hat is off for that mom, because that was absolutely amazing. And she was able to reassure her child so that her child would not enter panic mode. Because what do you think would happen if everyone was screaming at that child, a small child that was maybe 4 years old? That child would enter into panic mode, maybe start hitting things, hurt themselves, and no one could reach the kid. They had to wait for the firemen to come to take the kid out. So this is all something that mom, what she was doing, she was the only person in that situation that was thinking rationally. And she was able to think rationally because she's self-regulated. So next time you see a parent that is gentle parenting and their child screwed up and they are hugging their child, don't be like, oh, that's why the kid is spoiled. Oh, that's why they... No, that mom is doing something that is much harder than screaming at her kid. That mom is doing something that's much harder than, slapping her kid, pulling their hair, or whatever stupid parents do. And sorry that I'm getting, but it's just authoritarian parenting, because it's like, it's the nerve of being an authoritarian parent who parents through fear and bullying their own child, and is just mindlessly reacting to their emotions. It's easy parenting. It's easy parenting. Easy parenting. Hi, Anne-Marie, thank you. I am passionate about this, yeah. And this is easy parenting, and then the nerve that they have to be like, look at those moms, they don't care. They do care. They do care, and it's really, really hard. So if you are gentle parenting a small child, I just wanted to say good, keep on. You are changing the world. You are changing the world, because you're creating our next generation of mankind. You are creating people that will be emotionally, healthy. Emotionally healthy. And you are breaking the cycle. So don't let other people put you down. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.